Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela and I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and I'd like to welcome you all back to a Throwback Friday number 34. And just in case you are new to the channel, my throwback series are old videos that were made last year that I'm showing you again this year, so that you have the opportunity to catch up on some of the old stuff that may interest you. I've done it like this so that you don't have to go raking through all the hours upon hours of content that's already on this channel. Yeah, I've been a bit crazy with it, haven't I? Right, so first up today we have got Whips, Bits and Chat number 33. And so I have cut into this one. I have removed some of the stuff that's really not that interesting anymore, but there's a couple of cute little stories in there and some other bits and pieces. So let's go and have a nose now. Right, so today I've got a couple of little bits for you, with a couple of little explanations as to why I've done what I've done in the order I've done it. Bit cryptic there, I know, but you'll get there in a minute, or you'll understand it in a minute. Right, so on today's lineup we have got, first off is our catch up from last week. Yeah, I've been a bit psycho crazy this week with videos. I'm trying to get a video out to you every day for at least the next 12 days, and that although they are only short sharps, so it means it's something that you can watch while you've put the kettle on to make a cuppa, because you know it's only going to be, what, 5 minutes or so. Nothing too big. This is the big one. This is the lengthy one, which if I'm lucky I'll get to 30 minutes, but no, my luck it'll probably only be 20 because I'm rubbish. Right, now on to some non-crochet related stuff. A Liam story. Right, Liam has been at it again, the little toe rag. Now my daughter, what was it, on Sunday last week, it was after I'd filmed last week's Whips and Bits, or should I say she was out whilst I was filming it, but it didn't make it into last week's because I was too busy laughing and I couldn't control myself enough to be able to tell it to you, like tell you what happened. So here goes. Right, she was taking him out for a walk. She got to the other side of the estate and he's on an extender lead and he's sniffing around on the grass, and she was watching him. She was checking he wasn't dropping a bomb that she had to pick up. So she's watching him and all of a sudden he looks over at her, looks at the floor, and then sort of takes 3 or 4 steps and then just stops and holds up his paw. So of course my daughter's animal lover, animal mad, and she doesn't like seeing any animal injured. So she's gone up to him and he's let her check her paw over. No flinching, no nothing. So she sends me a message, like a verbal message. Mum, Liam's hurt his paw. It looks like he might have, as he was walking, gone into a dip and maybe caught a claw. I'm carrying him home. So there I am, straight away, send her a message back, like a verbal message, so that she could hear it straight off. Don't pick him up, don't do nothing, just stand there. He will start walking when he's ready. He's being a cantankerous toe rag and doing to you what he did to your dad a few weeks ago. Right, well, it's about 10 or 15 minutes later, the front door goes and I hear her go, "Get in there, you toe rag." And so he plods in, happy as anything, prancing on all 4 feet like a flipping show pony, you know, like one of them dancey ones that they do to music where the paws go like that, the hooves, sorry. He does the same thing. So he's there with all 4 of his legs going like that, and I'm like, her foot, she's gone, he's a snot bag. And I was like, well, what do you mean? She goes, I carried him all the way back home until we got to the road outside the house. She goes, I had to put him down. My arms felt like they were falling off. She goes, as soon as I put him down, and I did it gently, Mum, honestly I did. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know you would. She's like, well, I put him down. He looks at me, gives the best smile he has in ages, and proceeds to prance across the road to the house. There's nothing wrong with him, is there, Mum? I was like, no, did you check your message? She went, no. or you might want to check it. So she's checked her message. She's gone, I wish I'd checked my message before I carried him home. I'm going upstairs. So he wasn't in her bestest books for a good couple of days. Every time I said to her, do you fancy taking him out, he would look at her and lift up his paw as if to say, you're carrying me. And she's like, no, I'm not taking him out if I have to carry him. Cantankerous toe rag. He's not a small dog, is he? If he was like a little Shih Tzu or something like that, it wouldn't be so bad. But he's a relatively decent sized dog. He's like the size of a male collie. Yeah, a male collie. So he is a decent size, and he is muscly, so muscly. Right. I got woken up this morning and by my daughter and husband talking. I was absolutely cracking up in bed. Now, yesterday, right, here's the backstory. Yesterday I was cleaning the lounge carpet, and it's my pre-Christmas decoration put up clean. So everything from top to bottom gets cleaned, skirting, carpets, the walls, everything. So I'm quarter of the way through doing it, which means I've already dragged out the two-seater sofa, hoovered and carpet cleaned there, waited for that to dry, moved the three-seater into the spot the two-seater was in, and then hoovered and carpet cleaned that spot, waited for that to dry, and then my husband came home for lunch and reminded me that we had somebody coming round to measure up because we're getting new front door and back door for the property. So he helped me move the three-seater into where the place where the two-seater was. So I'd done all that, and then we had this meeting about the front and the back door. That all decisions were made quite quickly with me and my husband. We knew what we wanted. It took the chap about an hour for him to type it all in and for the computer to say yes instead of no. And then he went off, and then it was just a case of clearing the other end of the lounge and moving a single-seater chair out so that I could do that area as well. And so last night, my back had sort of started giving up by the time I'd finished cleaning the carpet that's underneath all the sofas and chairs. Right, so I hadn't bothered doing the rest of the carpet. Right, that bit I'll be doing later once I finished it, editing this one. Right, so I'm laying in bed and I've heard, Dad, Dad, Dad. And my husband's like, what? He's gone, and my youngest has gone, I'm in so much trouble. And he's like, well, why's that? She goes, I let Liam out. He's gone, yeah. She's gone, he's come speeding in and he's put dirty muddy footprints everywhere. He's been digging on the grass, like digging in the garden. And there's footprints throughout the whole house, Dad. And my husband's like, oh, you are in deep doo-doos. It's not even been 12 hours since Mum finished cleaning the carpets and they're already covered in footprints. Well, at least they're not mine. And I could hear the stress in my daughter's voice and the fact that she was a bit overly worried, and I couldn't send her to school like that because of course my husband was taking my daughter in today, like, and dropping her off. So I've just shouted out, don't panic, kiddo. I've not actually cleaned anything else but the bit that will stay clean, the bit under the sofa. So I'm there, I'm cracking up. My daughter's cracking up and she's like, oh, thank God for that. My husband's like, oh, you are so evil, Ange. I was hoping I could get at least another 5 minutes of panic out of her before I told her the truth. He's so evil. Right, so on to completed items this week. I've got a cheeky one first that you saw last week or the week before, which is the chocolate bonbon hat by Crystal at Bag a Day. I'll pop a link down below and one above. Now, I made this for my daughter, and the pom-pom that came with the yarn was rubbish. I'll be able to use it on something else, but it'll probably be a baby's item. So of course I'd got my pom-poms, hadn't I, from June, so this one has now got a new pom-pom on. So she's pretty chuffed with it, although she keeps forgetting to take it with her when she goes out, normally to school, but then she'll forget her coat. So you remind her about the coat and forget about the hat, the gloves and everything else. And she'll remember once it snows. And then the second one was my hat. Now if you've seen the videos this week, I've been wearing it pretty much throughout. Now it is the majority of it, I should say, is another one of Crystal at Bag of Days, and it is a houndstooth hat. So link above and link below. Now I thoroughly enjoyed working this one. Okay, I've probably not quite mastered the stitch yet. It looks alright from a distance. So I'm happy with it. I like the way it is, but it's not quite there yet. I think I need a bit more practice yet before I go any bigger. Now I got so carried away with this one. Now the plan was that when I got near the end of it, I was going to record how I do the rolled edge. But I got carried away. I was thoroughly enjoying it, and so I didn't record it. I just kept going. I thought, oh crikey, when I got to the end I was like, you daft donut, you're meant to have recorded that. So it looks like I'm going to have to make another hat, and hopefully I'll remember next time to video it for you all. Now the differences on this one is I got carried away whilst I was doing this section, which is just going round and round and round and round with the same stitch count. So once I got past the section where Crystal was showing us how to increase it, and I just started going round and round and round, I didn't bother counting my rows, and I didn't actually return to the video for the edging. So apologies Crystal if I've mucked it up a bit, or if it doesn't quite look the same as yours. Now this one I've decided is a multi-wear. I could wear it 3 different ways. My daughter finds this hilarious when I say this to her. Right, so I'm gonna sort of shove it on and show you. Right, so let's take them off for a second. First one is, it's a beanie. Okay, straightforward, nice and tight to your head, right? But then flip the brim down, wiggle it up a bit, and we got a slouchy-ish, right? And then if it was for a teenager, you flip it down again and pull it over, and then they're pretty chuffed because like they're ignoring you like normal. And you can see through the holes, so they can still be on their mobiles. Sorry, I'm in one of them moods again. Right, let's just sort this one out. Oh, take it off and stuff. I've been saying it for a couple of days now, and my daughter's just like, Mum, you're a freaking lunatic. But it's a good thing, isn't it? I still absolutely love that hat, and yes, I still do wear it out as well, and sometimes I even pull it down. But I hope you enjoyed those crazy stories. Liam does still play the oops, I've hurt my foot. He's even started doing it in the house just so that he can get up on the sofas for a hug. He is such a cheeky toe rag. Right, so our next video up today is 12 Days of Christmas, and it is video number 4. So get ready with your notepad. Let's see if it's a pattern you would like to do. And I would like to welcome you back to day 5, I think. Let me check. Yep, day 5 of the 12 Days of Christmas. Right, so let's get on with today's episode. Now, I'm doing again this week the same as I did last week, which is going for the bigger item first and then follow it up with a couple of tree decorations for later on in the week. And so I had to go upstairs and, well, not upstairs, I went into the loft yesterday to raid the Christmas decorations box because I still haven't got around to putting them up. I was doing a deep clean. So I'd left the ladder open to take a phone call. And while I did, Pippi decided she was going up in the loft to explore. So I had no choice. I've had to bring down all of the Christmas decorations because I couldn't get to her otherwise. She had found a really, like a little hole, well not a hole, but a nice little gap where she could collapse and hide. And she was really hiding. She absolutely loved it up there. She was running round and round and round, but luckily nowhere near the hatch so she could fall out. But when it came to getting her out again, she looked at the ladder as if to say, I've only ever gone up, I've never gone down, because this is the first time she'd managed to actually get in the loft. So of course, there I am, I've got the cat and I've managed to catch her, and I've said to my daughter, I need you at the bottom because I've got to pass the cat back down to you. So as I'm trying to get her through the hatch, her arms and legs splayed. She looked like one of them Garfields that you used to be able to get, that you would stick on a window of a car back in like the 90s, 80s and 90s. And she was splayed like that. The claws were sticking right out, and she's trying to catch anything on the hatch to stop from going down, because there's me holding her like by her tummy and going, you will go down. So after a bit of wiggling and toing and froing, we managed to get her back out of the loft and get her down. But she was not happy. She was not happy at all about this possibility that I might drop her from a great height. But she's all right. No cat was injured in the making or the telling of this story. Right, so after that 5 seconds of giggles, let's move on to today's item. Right, so today's item are these little cuties. Now these are Christmas gnome crochet. Well, that's the name of the pattern. I think they're so cute. I've got a man and a lady, or a husband and wife. These are really simple ones. Basically you work one whole piece for the underside, then you make the little hat and you add on the hair and then the nose, and pop it all together. Quite a nice little make, and they are really cute. Now these take pride of place on my banisters. I will pop a picture in a second. Right, and so this pattern I found again on YouTube. It's by this person here. I'm not going to attempt it because I'll muller it. And the pattern name is A Christmas Gnome Crochet. So I'm going to pop a link up above and one below. Now, I love that one. They again were made within 3 months of me picking up a crochet hook. So they're really quite nice and simple to do, and a really good introduction. Now, the video itself is a really nice one. There is no verbal on it, so there's no verbal prompts or commands. It's the pattern itself is all written on screen, and she works alongside showing you how to do the different stitches and stuff that you need. So it is a really nice beginner pattern, and you get an absolutely gorgeous item out of it at the end. It was really nice to be reminded of the Pippi Adventures in the Loft. For any of you that don't know, at the beginning of August, Pippi got hit by a car and sadly lost her life. So, as I said, it's nice to hear the funny stories, which is why I've left it in. Right, so for any of you that don't know, I actually started with amigurumi when I took up crochet. So when I say it's a nice easy pattern and I'd only been crocheting for a few months, I'm telling you the truth. Now all of these early patterns are done with either a 3 or a 3.5mm hook. My tension was a little bit squiff back then. I've corrected it since. But again, they are really lovely items to make. Now let's get on with video number 6. And welcome back to 12 Days of Christmas, day number 6. Right, so on today's one, I thought I would discuss the stocking. I don't know if you'd spotted it, it's a new edition. I pulled it out of the loft yesterday because I remembered I had a spare. Right, so let's take this one down and I'll show it to you a bit closer. The fixing this up here was a bit of a challenge. I ended up using little hair ties or loom bands and a stitch marker just to hold it up. Right, so this one here was my very first adult size stocking, or adult size decoration, like a bigger one. The pattern is called a Cozy Cottage Christmas Stocking. There is a right and a left-handed version of this now, and the pattern is by Pattern Paradise. Now this was the very first time I'd tried this stitching, and the very first time I had made an extra bit to then join It's a bit strange to explain, isn't it? Right, you work from the bottom up, building the pattern, and then you make this ribbon section separately, and then you sew it on. Sew it on, and then you can turn it down and it looks super duper cute. Right, now I loved working this one up. It was a bit of a challenge for me because again, this was year one, so everything I was doing, I was doing new stitches, new everything, so everything was a challenge. But once you master, well, not even master, but once you remember how to do a different stitch to what you're used to doing, it works quite well, and it's really quite forgiving. So this pattern is anyway. So if one stitch was a little bit bigger than another, so your tension was a bit off, it sort of works itself out in the end, so you haven't got to worry as much. And so I made this one, and then I ended up making a couple more last year because a neighbour of mine had said, oh, can you make me some little ones, like some larger stockings for the kids to hang on the mantelpiece? So I was like, right, well, I only know of one pattern that I know I can do. I showed her this one and she went, oh, okay then, give it a go and see how you go, because you haven't done it for like a whole year. So I ended up making these two. So as I said, the pattern was really lovely, and it works up pretty nicely as well. And I don't think I did a bad job second time round. But anyway, I thought you'd like to see this one, and I thought maybe you would have a go at it as well if you've got time amongst all the Christmas presents. Ah, that cheeky Christmas stocking decoration. To be honest, it's a really good idea to line the inside of those with a sock. That way it gives it more stability, and there's less chance of any of the presents that you would put in them falling out through the stitches. Right, let's have a look at video number 7. I'd like to welcome you all back for day number 7 of the 12 days of Christmas. Right, so today I'm going to grab something off the tree, as the last 2 days have been quite reasonable size decorations. Sorry, brain moment. Right, so let's grab it. Oh, now I had a couple of you comment on the snowflake. So, right, sorry about the pausing. I realised I didn't have the details to hand, so I've just spent 10 minutes going through some absolutely gorgeous snowflake patterns now that have appeared on YouTube. Dear, it could be quite dangerous. Right, but anyway, this is the one that I made. I'm not too sure if you're going to be able to catch the sparkles on it, but it is made with a yarn that has got lurex, I think it's called, running through it. Now this one is the Easy Crochet Dandy, or dinner titter. I'll write it below here anyway. Snowflake ornament tutorial, and it's by Christine's Crochet. Sorry if I've muddled your name, honey. Now this one again was made, I think this was a year 2 project actually. Yes, it was probably Christmas number 2 project for this one, because I was getting a bit more I was picking up more challenges. So this one is worked with double crochets, if I remember rightly. So double crochets and then some possible picot or something on the top sections. I haven't rewatched the video, I'm really bad. But I remember making it, and once you've done the very first, like once you've done your centre and you've worked this first section out, you speed through it because it's just repetitive. You repeat the same scenario all the way around. It's really easy. I think this one probably took me about 15 minutes to do, just solely because I was learning how, like, it might have taken 20 actually. Yeah, we'll call it 20, but by the time I'd finished making a few of them, I got the timing down, like we all do once we remember the pattern. But I thought I would show you this one. As I said, it's one of my earlier one of the earlier tutorials that I had actually copied, and and I found it really lovely. The instructions are actually written on screen as well, so, and you can see them working in the background, which is absolutely brilliant for most of us. I'm sorry if you need a more verbal, but there are other patterns out there that are absolutely gorgeous. I just haven't got round to making them yet, so I can't tell you how easy they are to work up. Oh, that was a quick cheeky snowflake for video number 6, 7, 11. I'm lost. Oh my, I've got so carried away. It's actually the end of the video. You are going to have to wait to see the next set of these videos and next week. Right, I'm going to head off now. I will see you all really soon. So if you can, please stay in and definitely stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everybody.